What is today? Wednesday, Mercury day. We are having a new moon in Aries that I wanted to talk about, and I haven't said happy Aries season yet live, so happy Aries season. This new moon is very powerful as it's conjunct a lot of intense planets, asteroids, and things. So we're going to be talking about this new moon in Aries, and I would love to hear in the comments where this new moon is going to be happening in your house system, what house it's in for you. We are looking at 11 degrees of Aries. So wherever 11 degrees of Aries is for you is where this new moon is happening. And a really cool thing to understand too is that wherever that is also where currently Chiron is transiting. So if you can figure out where this new moon's happening in your chart, you'll also know where Chiron is acting and feeling from. And it's a very important process that we are in the process of going through, is this transit of Chiron in Aries. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that a little bit. I want to talk about what other planets are conjunct this new moon and what it's bringing up for you. There's very much this core identity that's associated with Aries season and Aries in general. And so likely it is a time for us to reestablish our identity, to release any conditions and illusions around who we are, who we can be, who we're allowed to be, and who wished that we were different. So did our parents wish that we were different? Did our teachers wish that we were different? And very important here is, did we think that? Because it might not even be the truth, but what we perceived about that and what we believed about who we could be and who we couldn't be is all coming up for us to heal at this time. And it's a very important process. So hello, if you're just joining, let me know where Aries is in your chart, where 11 degrees of Aries is in your chart. And let's see. So if you have your planetary planner, if you don't, they're on sale right now, the paper version and the digital version. So you can check those out on my website. So this new moon is at 11 degrees on March 31st. It's very late at night. I think it's like 11:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So on the 31st and the 1st, we'll be feeling this new moon. It's really good to set those intentions on Friday. Anytime you can do it is great. Friday or Saturday are great days to really set those intentions strong. So it's conjunct Mercury at 9 degrees, Chiron at 12 degrees, Pallas Athena at 17 degrees, and Eros at 18 degrees. Okay, I want to just really quickly go through how that flavors. All right. Wow. Instagram has been acting weird for me all day today, so I'm not surprised. But basically, I wanted to talk a little bit about Aries. So Aries is the sign that defines the eastern horizon line. So it is that sunrise part of us. We all have Aries energy somewhere in our chart. And yeah, it's a little cuckoo. And like overnight, not that this matters or I care about it, but I think it's interesting. I lost like 40 followers or something overnight. I'm like, there's no reason for that. So it's very interesting. Something fishy's going on with Instagram. So Anita Wahinthi, is that how you say your name? Anihata. I don't know why I'm struggling. I'm struggling a lot with jet lag. So, but also I struggle with dyslexia. So sorry. I know that's heart chakra, so I don't know if that's your real name, but Aries is your moon and your rising. Okay, super powerful. And then Meredith says 11 degrees of Aries is the very beginning of your 8th house. I didn't know we had that in common. Are you a Leo rising? Amazing. 8th house is super powerful. Time to set fresh intentions when you have a new moon in your 8th house or any of the water houses. I feel like they're extra magical for setting intention. So thank you for sharing. Okay, so Aries. Aries is that time of day at sunrise. It's when I think of it as a very introspective and self-identity time period. Watching the sunrise is very introspective, whereas watching the sunset together is a very romantic Libra ruled time period. So when we're looking at like times of day, thinking about Aries is that it's kind of like the aura that sets off everything else. So knowing where your Aries house is in your chart, it's the starting point of identity, of your aura, of who you are. So again, knowing what house that's in is going to give it extra significance because it's in that area of life where that focus is of your aura, your initiating energy. It's the pioneering energy. It's passionate energy. It's I am. So for example, with Meredith saying 8th house, and I have that too, you come across as your identity, you come across as mysterious, even if you don't want to, or even if you don't think you are, you have that aura. It sets the aura, it sets everything else. So all of the fire signs have to do with transformation. I think it's really interesting, the childhood that I had, me and my 2 siblings are both fire signs, and we needed to be to transform the karma of our parents, and so like that fire energy is transformative. So again, focusing on where your fire houses are show you where you can transform and transcend that area of life. And when we're talking about this new moon, it's a transformative new moon, so you really want to be in the energy of transformation, initiating in new fresh energy. And if you're not in that place, I would invite you to do the work to get to that place, because since this is the start of the zodiac cycle and the start of the zodiac year, we really want to set those seeds really firmly into the earth. So Aries season is like the seeds. Then when we get to Taurus season, we're starting to grow those roots. So we need to be in touch with what our soul truly wants and what our path truly is in order to get anywhere this year. So Aries is also the spiritual warrior. And we can see in our world as well how the shadow side of that is acting from ego or acting not from spirit. So it's very important to understand the difference of, especially with this new moon in particular, where you're calling upon your inner warrior when it's appropriate and where you're maybe over leaning into that warrior and doing it from a place of ego without knowing that you're doing it from a place of ego. I just saw this other coach posting about basically if you do this and if you do that and if you think this and if you believe that, and then you're wrong. And I'm just like, wow, okay, your ego is really showing, because ultimately the law of neutrality is anyone can believe whatever they want. Everyone has a unique path. There can be multiple truths happening at the same time. And our unique path is for our unique lessons. And if we're trying to judge and control other people's lessons, we're in a really, really strong egoic place, and we need to release that. So Aries season is a time for us to realign with a spiritual warrior and disassociate or call our energy back from the egotistical warrior, if that makes sense. So this Aries energy is about your core identity and who you truly are. So one of the main questions, especially with this new moon conjunct Chiron, and for those of you going through a Chiron return, which is if you were born between 1968 and about 1978, you are, or you will be, or you already went through your Chiron return. Now, obviously, if you were born closer to 1968, then you've already kind of gone through it, probably coming to the other side of it. If you were born towards 1978, it's still coming your way, because Chiron is only in 12 degrees of Aries, okay? So regardless, this question is for everybody, but it's especially for those of you that have things conjunct your Chiron in Aries, or for this new moon, if you have things conjunct this Aries placement, is how do you wish you were different? So looking back in your history, your past, and then of course how that, if we're not able to establish that as past, as not of present time, right? If we're still living in that energy, how did you wish you were different, and who would have made happy? So another way to say that is, how do you wish you were different, and who would appreciate that you were different. Does that make sense? So this is a big question for journaling, for clearing, and for getting to your soul essence at this new moon, because it's so, so important. So who did you think you'd make happy, or who would have been happy if you weren't living from your soul truth or your soul identity? If you were feeling like you were not enough or you were too much as a child, who wanted you to be more or less? And this is really with Chiron. It can often be a teacher, so primary school teacher, can even be a high school teacher, especially any kind of mentor teacher figure that you looked up to, but it can also be a parent or parental figure. So the Chiron imprint with this new moon is very strong, and it's really bringing up this new opportunity to leave the past in the past, come to more healing, come to more true identity, true I am energy in the now. So that is Chiron's influence. Then we also have Mercury, which Mercury in Aries can be kind of the shoot from the hip kind of energy, which can be necessary sometimes. We have to be real with ourselves. We have to be real with each other. However, again, coming from that spiritual warriorship and not that egotistical warriorship. We can say things, we can put our foot in our mouth, so to speak, around this new moon time and just in general when Mercury is in Aries. So with this new moon, it's really important to pay attention to also the inner voice, the inner dialogue, the inner beliefs that we're working from, and making sure that it's the truth that we want. Like, why would we keep believing things? Why would we keep beating ourselves up with words, beliefs, ways of being that aren't serving us, right? So it's like kind of that ability to realign with our truth and release any programs that are running that aren't of highest truth. And then we also have Pallas Athena. Pallas Athena is an asteroid, and she has to do with seeing the bigger picture, seeing through the BS. I often say that people that have a strong Pallas Athena imprint in their chart have this ability, have this understanding. Maybe they're called, I don't even know if I can say words on here anymore, but like the conspiracy minded. Okay, we'll just say, I'm sure that'll get flagged. But conspiracy minded is very much so the energy of Pallas Athena, because the origination of that idea or that word comes from conspiring against the king. And so obviously in time periods where the king was, just not a great space holder or like leader, that if you were against the king, then you were conspiring against the king, right? So if you have that energy in your life where you maybe have struggled with authority figures, especially those authority figures that you feel like aren't worthy of respect, you might have more of this Pallas Athena energy. Pallas Athena was the wisdom keeper who she had strategy. She used strategy to help others. And this is really important to understand with this new moon, because how can you initiate and use this Pallas Athena energy to strategize your life, to really embark on a new path, to really trust yourself and have a plan for yourself that includes all of these other pieces. So your healing, your need for rest, your need for processing, all of those things. And how can you kind of map out your life this year in a way that's going to help you to serve more people or help you to help more people? Then lastly, we have Eros in Aries here. And Eros is our passion, and Aries is already about our passion. So the fact that this new moon lights up our passion even more is showing us about our true spiritual path, is showing us about our true soul's calling. And it's really important to understand that anything that you desire, or anything that you want, or any intentions that you set around the new moon come from a soul-aligned place. If you want something, there's a meaning behind having that thing, or there's a meaning behind going after that thing. And it has to do with your core identity. Very much with the fire signs, it can have to do with freedom. It can have to do with room to breathe. I mean, you think about fire, right? And so it's very important to understand why you want certain things. Hi, if you're just joining. Why you want certain things, why you have the passion to go after certain things. And that can really help you to get in that energy even more to really initiate forward and go towards your goals. oftentimes we'll set goals and almost be disconnected from having the thing or wanting the thing. So it's really important to understand what the meaning is for you. What does it mean to have that thing? What does it mean to do that thing? What does it mean to accomplish that thing? Why? What would that do for you? What would that be or mean for you? And really come from that place, because if we're disassociated or disconnected from that feeling or that emotion or that deeper understanding of what it means for us, we're not going to stay true to the goal. We're going to find ways to sabotage ourselves. Lastly, this new moon sextiles Vesta and Aquarius. So if you're in feminine leadership, we're going through all of these archetypes in your chart, but Vesta has to do with, Vesta has to do with burning our own fire bright, which is very much a very Aries thing, like making sure that we're feeding ourselves, making sure we're taking care of ourselves, making sure that we are in alignment with what our soul needs. And then it also conjuncts Mars in Aquarius. So this sextile, did I say, because Vesta's conjuncting Mars. And then that's all sextiling this new moon. And what that means is Aquarius is very much the connection between Aries and Aquarius, because we have a lot of planets in Aquarius, we have a lot of planets in Aries, and what that means is that they both have to do with leading the group from a place of being true to the self. And so with everything with this new moon, really be in that understanding of, if you're the more you are in alignment with your truth and your soul's purpose and what you want, the more you're going to help others, the more you're going to lead others. So it's just a really important time to align with that and really understand that what you want and who you are is so needed and so necessary for this new earth that we're all creating together. And quiet, doing a live. So I wanted to read this last thing, and then I also wanted to say that if you are interested, I have a special offer on 1-day intensives with me. And so that is in my website. No, sorry. I'm still a little jet lagged, you can tell from this video, but I wanted to do this video for the new moon. So I'm here showing up, and then I'm heading out to the coast to refresh and reground into this time zone. But I was going to say that the link through my profile, I have the VIP. It's like a 4-hour intensive with me, going through your chart, and it's really just like a 1-day coaching experience. So we do those 4 hours together, and then for the rest of the day, you have Voxer access to like kind of any questions that come up after that reading for the day. You can ask them through Voxer. So that is a special offer that I have going on right now to celebrate this Aries season. And I do have a new, I'm just going to say it really quickly, a new thing that is coming up. It will probably be in May, and it is going to be around business alignment and business growth. And that is going to be coming up. So I will post more about it, but if you're interested, you can message me. It's just in the beginning phases. I'm super excited to offer it. It came through on my trip to Greece, and I really wanted to share it with you all. So those are my new moon lovelies that I wanted to share with you all. And lastly, I'm just going to read this. Okay. When the next world comes, it will be like an alligator. Alligator lies buried in the water and mud near the bank, never stirring, so it seems. Yet without warning, alligator will leap out of the water and seize you. Screaming and struggling to no avail, alligator will plunge you deep into the river and spirit you away. It will come like that. And that is about the new earth and the new world that's coming. And the way that I see this is our ego is going to protest. Our ego and our beliefs and the inner voices are going to critique us and tell us that we can't be a certain way, we can't do anything a certain way, that we have to fit into what's already here. And the new earth and the new world is really, it's just comes suddenly, and it comes through us when we trust our soul and we trust our path and we trust who we truly are outside of what our parents wanted us to be or outside of what our teachers wanted us to be. That it really requires us to know at our core who we are and what we want. So if you want to work with this even more, I do have one-on-one coaching, 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month packages where we dive into your astrology, but we also dive into the deep embodiment work. And I offer up tons of tools to help you shine brighter in your path and your purpose. I hope you have a beautiful new moon. If you see this post on my profile, give it some love and tell me where 11 degrees of Aries is in your chart, because that's where the new moon is going to be happening. Take good care. Bye.